The generational curse that almost ended my family.
My crazy witch aunt.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh?
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me.
So here's part one of my crazy witch aunt. So this all started before I was even born. This started, I want to say, back in Sierra Leone, West Africa, where my parents were still living at the time before they came to America. Everything was fine. My mom and dad were married and everything was cool. My uncle, who is my dad's father, we're going to call him Luke. Luke met Sally, which is the name of my crazy witch aunt, fake name, of course. Sally and Luke end up getting married. Everything's happy, go lucky. We love it. Sally doesn't have her papers, so Sally stays in West Africa. My mom, dad, and my uncle and my other uncle, we're going to call him Kevin, moved to America and are starting a life. This is when things get hot and heavy. We go back to Africa when me and my older sister are born. Me and my older sister went with my mom for my mother's sister's, and we're going to call her Judy, wedding. She was having a wedding and she took us there. It was super fun trip. Remember the trip like the back of my hand. Like, it was super duper fun. Met all my extended family and it was a great time. I was there for a whole month and a lot happens in a month, y'all. So back in the day, when we went to that vacation, it was around, I want to say 2006 to 2007, because I turned 7 when I was there. We stopped in Guinea because we have family there. I have family from Guinea as well, but that's where my Aunt Sally came from. My Aunt Sally lived in Guinea and she had a daughter named Sally herself. Named her after herself. Sally will chime in towards the middle of the story. Everything was cool. I remember that vacation we stayed at Sally's house, my Aunt Sally's house, and everything was great, you know. Mind you, around this time, my mom and dad won the lottery. Super weird. I know. Random. And that was $10,000 they won. And if anyone knows, back in the day, like 2006, 7, if you won 10K, you was really in your bag. That was a lot of money. And when they played the lottery and they found out they won, one thing immigrant parents like to do is to purchase land back home with the purpose of getting or building a house so you can bluff about it, oh, I got a house, you know. It's so annoying. But yeah, so they bought the land. They got the whole, it was a big, I want to say 10 to 12 acres of land. It's a lot of land, and they purchased it. So obviously the word got back, you know, back home, because people don't know how to shut the heck up. So we were there, people talked about it. And all of a sudden this woman comes up, one of our aunts, and comes up to my mom, and she's all like, my mom, I'm going to call her Ruby. Ruby, I heard that, you know, your brother just bought all this land. When are you going to buy land and build a house for your parents? Da, 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 da. And my mom looks at the woman like, what? What are you talking about? Like, the land on so-and-so street? And she was all like, yeah, your brother's land, which is my dad's brother that's married to Sally, Luke. And that's when my mom, Ruby, looks at her like, that is not his. Not sure what you're talking about, but she thought maybe, you know, it was just a misunderstanding. But the woman looked at her like, okay, that's a little bit weird, but we keep it pushing because it's my sister, my aunt's birthday, my mom's sister, not birthday, wedding. So everything is cool. The wedding goes by, and after we go back home, we go to Guinea because we're transitioning to come back to America, and we stay at my Aunt Sally's house again. we're there at her house, and as we're leaving, or like my aunt was all like, oh my gosh, what are you gonna do with your part of the land? And that's when my mom looks at her again and gives the same look like, why is everybody saying that? Like, that land is not your husband's. That's not Luke's land. Like, that's not his land. So I'm kind of confused on why people think it's his. Me and my husband bought it. Here's the papers. Like, the deed is in our name. Like, this is our land. So my Aunt Sally then has a sour look, and it's like, oh, oh, you know? And my mom thought it was just a misunderstanding, so she kind of brushed it away, even though my uncle lied and said the land was his, just talking out the side of his neck. Still don't know why he did that. And we're getting into the taxi so we can head to the airport in Morocco. All of a sudden, my mom says she turns around, and imagine, I'm going to imagine, like, put it in perspective. My Aunt Sally was looking at her through the blinds of the window like a movie. She was just like, staring at her in the most ominous way, like, I'm about to change your life. And boy, did she fucking do that. Boy, did she. We come home, everything's fine. We didn't think anything of it. We just thought everything was cool. You know, one thing that we ended up having, me and my sister ended up getting really sick towards the end of the trip. Sick as a dog. And I mean sick, like I was throwing up, she was throwing up. It was really bad, but we didn't think much of it, you know. It was just like, we're in a whole other country. This is the first time traveling out of state. We came into contact with thousands upon thousands of people, from airport to hotel, cab to cab. We're gonna get sick, you know. That's what we just chalked it all up to. But we were better, came to America, got, you know, treatment, and we're good. Fast forward to when I was in the 2nd grade. Sally finally gets a visa and comes to America. My Aunt Sally, I was like through the moon, and like, because, you know, I really enjoyed my Aunt Sally. You know, she was super duper cool, like super hilarious, had a great sense of humor, you know. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have more family. Sally stayed at our house. And mind you, my uncles lived with us at the time, and Sally moved in the basement. No, you know, we help each other, family, you know, help family out, even though I felt like my mom kind of helped family out when she never got the same in return. But that's what happens when you're a giver. Everything was fine. But we started to notice some things. Like, we just felt like we had the worst luck. We got a new car. It was breaking down. And we noticed that things in the house we'd fix, it would just break, you know. And at first we just thought it was just like, you know what, we're not taking care of stuff. We're not doing something correctly. We got a new car. I remember me and my mom stepped in the car. My brother and sister are in the back. We're going to school. The car crashes to the point where my lung collapsed and I had to go to the hospital. And everything's fine, you know. For some reason, we just can't keep a car. Every time we get a car, it's getting totaled. And not like, oh, it just, the battery stopped working. Like, it would be a car crash totaled. Like, where people are in the car and, like, I could have died. But by the grace of God that I believe in, that I'm, like, alive. You know, my uncle prays, my other uncle, my dad's brother, Kevin, he prays up and down, left and right for the whole family. So, you know, we never died. But, like, I feel like sometimes we definitely came close to it. My dad started experiencing a lot of pain in his lower back. He started to get a lot of health issues, mind you, like bad health issues. And the problems between my uncle and his wife, Sally, so Luke and Sally, was not doing well. They were arguing a lot. It was constant arguing. My family was falling apart in front of my eyes. Like everyone had issues. Everyone was like having issues. And my grandmother was alive at the time. We're going to call her Michaela. My grandma Michaela was alive, and she was kind of like the peacemaker, you know. So everybody was at my house hollering, screaming, talking about all this mess. And we just didn't understand what was going on, because like before, I could have sworn everything was cool, calm, and collected. Cool, calm, and collected. But then things just turned sour, like quick. Like it just turned so sour so quick. We just felt like no matter what, we was still like, we weren't going nowhere. We were constantly being put in this hole. We'll try to succeed and get like either like someone gets a job or demoted. It was like something like we take 4 steps forward, we were coming 5 steps back. 4 steps forward, 39 steps back. Like it was something in like, you know, and we just couldn't put our finger to it. And I'm coming to the end, but this is not final part, but you know, this is the last part of my first part. Okay, so this is part 2 of my crazy witch aunts. So as I left off in part 1, things start happening to my family. And when I mean things start happening, we are not able to keep funds. Like we noticed like things were just, no matter what good thing happened, it always ended up bad. Like it started to get like weird to the point where I just felt like it doesn't matter. No matter what we do, it's not gonna go nowhere. So around this time, my aunt got pregnant and she had my little cousin, and we're gonna call her Cassie. Cassie loved that little girl to death. Like we raised that little girl, you know, every single time she came over to our house, we always did cool stuff with her, you know, because we loved her. And things became, you know, fun until it didn't. And what I mean by it didn't, Sally and Luke would drop her child off, like their child off to our house, and would not pick her child up for like a week or 2. We would have Cassie for 2 weeks. Like, we're like, okay, I get it. We're family, but come on, girl, you got to pick your child up. That's like your whole child. Like, why don't you want to pick your own child up? Like, it's just weird. But, you know, we were kids. Like, granted, yeah, we were kids. We shouldn't have even been watching no baby at that age. But we were kids. And we loved her so much. It didn't bother us. But my mom was getting really annoyed. Ruby was all like, you got to pick up your kid. And, you know, and that's when we noticed that Luke and my Uncle Luke and my Aunt Sally's marriage started to depreciate. It was not doing good. It was not doing good whatsoever. It was to the point where they were arguing all the time. And, you know, and it was so confusing. I was like, dang, I thought you really loved this girl. What's going on? What's going on? You know, and it got so bad to the point that it affected their home life. It affected everything. Now, my Aunt Sally and my Uncle Luke, they were living in Section 8 housing with my Uncle Kevin. The relationship between all of them became, I don't know what happened, to the point they lost the house. I don't know. And they ended up moving to another house. And my Uncle Kevin went somewhere else. So it just became like terrible. Mind you, the house they were living in was not fit for a child. It was super duper bad. Like they were just, it was terrible. As we got older, the relationship became strained even more. It became bad. Like my uncle and my Aunt Sally were fighting left and right. And what made this topple over and what made all this worse, we found out that my Aunt Sally, Loki had a lover at one of her second jobs. The only reason why we knew is because my grandmother knew people that worked at the same place she worked at. And my grandma came up to my mom in my house, of course, and she was all like, just to let you know, Sally has another man. And my mom got so mad at her. She's like, no. You always do this. Stop. This is family. Stop. And my grandma was like, all right. I'm not going to say not a word. My grandma did not continue the conversation. She's like, all right. My mouth is shut. I'm not talking about it no more. We move on for a minute. Like I said, Aunt Sally, Uncle Luke, they're arguing. It's getting bad to the point where like we have to go pick like Cassie up to, you know, for her not to see all that because it was bad. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And things just did not get better. There was another situation that happened around this time. My Uncle Kevin was getting married. To this day, I and 99% of my family do not know who that woman was. Don't know how she looks like. Even the wedding I was not invited to. I want to say only a small group of people went, and it was my mom, my dad, and my uncle, like my other uncle. It was a small amount of people going. But what made it crazy is that why did my Aunt Sally go? Why did my Aunt Sally go to the wedding? It was in New York and everything was fine. They were going well. Aunt Sally touches the car, goes into the car. They're now on their way to go to the wedding in New York. And they end up getting 2 hours late. So many things happened before they got to that wedding. It was like everything could have happened. Like, you know, I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on exactly everything that happened, but anything that could have went wrong, went wrong. They were so late for the wedding. Like, the bride was like, what's going on? What's going on? You know, and this is a traditional Islamic wedding. Like, these are Muslim, you know, so it's like, this is just so terrible. And wedding goes all right, but the marriage didn't. That marriage lasted 2 months. 2 months. And to this day, we still don't know what happened. My father, my uncle won't speak on it. And we can't really, and I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want them to cuss me out, but you know what I mean. It just was bad. And we started to realize, because my uncles, my dad's sister, we're going to call her Mary. My dad's sister, Mary, literally said, every time Sally comes somewhere with you guys, it goes wrong. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed it? And like I said, my mom, she's disregarding everything. She does not, like, you know, she's not that type of person. She's like, no, I don't want to believe someone that's supposed to be my family member is going to do me like this, you know? And who wants to believe that? So every single day, like, every single day went by and we started to notice, like, you know, it was like little things. But we still kind of turned a blind eye. We just didn't think it would be my Aunt Sally. Another situation, my Aunt Sally tagged along with my mom and a couple of her friends to go to a function. My Aunt Sally was in the car, and of course, they never make it to the function. Car breaks down, runs out of gas, and they have to sleep on a bridge overnight. And I kid you not, y'all, I know it sounds so crazy, but it's just like, my mom just thought, it was like, oh, it was our luck. The GPS didn't work, X, Y, and Z. But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely a little more than the GPS, because you guys, the car broke down and everything. Like, are you serious? And it just kept on happening, incidents after incidents, bad luck after bad luck. And to the point where we just felt like, dang, we can't catch a break. It's just like, we cannot catch a break. So as time moved on, things started getting worse between my Uncle Luke and my Aunt Sally, and it progressively worse. Like, their marriage was falling apart. The affair was confirmed. She was sleeping with another man, and it was awful. And then we started to notice something with my Uncle Luke. My Uncle Luke started to become not all the way there. We started to notice that he started acting a little cuckoo, and it wasn't in the best way. Like, well, there's no good way to be crazy, but you know, there was one time he was like searching for his so-called cheating wife in the mall. Like, he all day walking around to see, like, and it's not saying, he has no clue that she would be at a mall, you know. There's tons of places she could be at. Like, I would understand go looking for her at work or this, but he went every store to go look for this woman. And this is something that he wouldn't do. And mind you, like I said, guys, like, the marriage was like tanking. It was going bad. So it was like he was just doing outlandish stuff. Like, he knew he was being cheated on and he wouldn't do anything. And it was crazy. Mind you, like, flashback to when they first got together. He never really wanted her. It was just like random where he said that he wanted to marry her. You know, she was a prostitute. My Aunt Sally was a prostitute back in Sierra Leone. So, of course, no one really wanted her. And don't want to be rude, Sally does not have really good features. And they coined her as not attractive. But I'm not going to talk about, that's not my opinion. So it was very like weird how like my uncle fell for her, you know? And the fact that now my uncle is literally like running after her in a random mall, not even knowing if she would be there, just going to random stores hoping she would be there. It was just so weird. It was odd and it didn't make sense. And since the time I'm almost at the cap, next video is going to be part 3 for why I like, it's going to get better from here. Hey guys, so this is part 3 of my crazy witch aunt. So I left off in part 2 how basically, like I said, the marriage was not doing its thing. And my uncle started to act a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It was just progressively getting worse, you know. Like I said, he would just act out of character. And it was not like him. My uncle is a very quiet man. Like, you know, he doesn't do stuff like that. So it was very weird. But like I said, I was in middle school. I was high school, you know, I wasn't really paying attention to anything like that, you know. I want to say as I got older and as time, like things got, you know, progressively worse, my mom started to catch some, you know, things about Sally. One situation in particular was my mom caters food. She caters African food. She loves cooking African food. People love her cooking. So she was selling food when we were younger, but obviously as she had more kids, it was like the 4 of us. So she couldn't continue to do it. She had to get a full-time job and then a part-time job. But she started doing it once we got older and we kind of didn't need as much supervision as we did when we were kids. She started doing it again and her business was booming. She got clients everywhere. She was cooking, catering. She was doing her thing. And, you know, my Aunt Sally was just watching, you know. My Aunt Sally then comes to my mom and she's all like, oh, Ruby, I got this, you know, I got this peanut butter in one of the dishes. A lot of African dishes, West African dishes, consist of raw, natural peanut butter. And she said, oh, I have this peanut butter for you, for, you know, the dish, so you can make it, X, Y, and Z. And my mom was like, bet, free peanut butter? Thank you, girl. My mom makes the dishes, packages out, and sells to her regular clients and also sells to her brother who was living with us at the time and my cousin who was also living with us at the time and my cousin's girlfriend that was also living with us at the time, well, wife. And mind you, my cousin's wife is pregnant with my little cousin. So a couple of days go by and my mom starts getting calls from her regular clients saying, hey, the food that you sold to me, my stomach was killing me. Like, bad. And my mom was like, oh, okay, it must have been a little spicier. And he was like, no, it's not the spiciness. I don't know. It didn't taste off or weird. It just caused severe stomach pain. I gave it to my daughter and she released blood in her fecal matter. And my mom was like, what? Like, what? This is not my cooking, you know, this would never happen. So she thought it was just unique to, you know, that one customer. Then my cousin and my cousin's wife and then my uncle was all like, yeah, no, it's same with me. My stomach was killing me, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And then it was like 5 or 6 of her customers was basically saying that like, oh yeah, like same thing. And my mom was like, what? This would never happen. Like, what the heck? What? It just doesn't make sense. Like, this is not like I didn't do anything wrong with my cooking. The only thing different was the peanut butter. So she calls my aunt. She's like, Sally, I don't know what the heck you just brought, but why is this peanut butter acting the way it is? You know, because she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, me and my uncle my Uncle Luke ate it, X, Y, and Z, and we were doing this, we were throwing up this, that, all of us, you know. And my mom was all like, no way you ate it, because little did she know, my Uncle Luke came to the house before all this mess happened, and he said he didn't eat the food my mom made. Like, they didn't even buy food. So, you know, because I remember my mom had already sold out of it, and he was like, oh, dang, they never ate it. So it was very odd how all of a sudden they did eat it. Sally said they did eat it. And my mom was like, that was weird. But she said, I don't want it, take it, you know. My mom didn't cook with it anymore, and miraculously, she made that same dish the next week. And thank God her customers are loyal, and they knew something must have been wrong. They ordered from it the same dish, and they were like, yeah, no, nothing happened. That must have been weird. And my mom was like, yeah, that was weird. But my mom started thinking now. This is when my mom was like putting her thinking cap on, and she's like, that was weird. Like, what could have happened to that dish or to the peanut butter, and why would she give it to me? So my mom started watching my aunt's moves now. She started paying attention a little more than she was. And she must have started realizing that her mom was right. Things started unfolding. And then the truth finally came out when my mom did this thing, which is called Sarah. I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically when you go, she had someone go, like she called someone back home. It was all like, hey, do you mind like just going to the witch doctor to see what's going on? Because I think there's something going on. Lo and behold, that man exposed the tea, because they'll do anything for money. So he went and said, yeah, your Aunt Sally, she's trying to destroy your whole entire family. The accidents, the cars, those weren't accidents. That was all her doing. For years, because of that land, she was upset about it, because apparently she tried to buy the land back from my mom, like not back because she never had it in the first place. She tried to buy the land, offered my parents the money. My parents were like, no, we already have plans for this house and property. Nope. From that point on, she did everything to destroy my family. Literally did anything and everything. The back pain that I mentioned that my father had, it was her. She was trying to paralyze him because she was upset that my dad was making a good amount of money. My dad was doing business and she wasn't, and her man wasn't. She caused mayhem. Her purpose and a lot unfolded. There's a lot of people who practice witchcraft in the African community. Some my mom knows, but not all of them do it for bad things. Some practice white magic. So one of my mom's friends, she randomly comes up to her at work and she's like, that little girl, Cassie, when she comes over to your house, stop letting her come over. Her mom puts stuff on her clothes, and when she comes, it falls off, and that's how she does her magic. Stop letting her come over. And my mom was like, how you know? Like, how do you know? And she's like, of course, she's not going to tell us how she know, because she's a witch too. But it was like, that's when my mom started putting everything together. She was like, okay, I'm getting it. I understand now. It's now making sense. She's been trying to destroy us from the inside out. The reason why my uncle fell in love with her is because she did a love spell. And when it started to wear off, of course, that's when the marriage started to go down. But then, of course, she re-upped and she did what she had to do. That's why he started following her all over the place. That's why he started acting crazy. She was doing it. She wanted people to look at him like he was this crazy man. So when he talked about stuff she was doing, no one would believe him, because she just wanted everyone to be like, oh, Luke is just crazy, And she was turning that man crazy. And it doesn't stop there. It gets worse. The person exposes everything she's doing, and my mom is in awe. She's like, oh my God, this woman is never coming over to my house again. The daughter cannot come. And obviously this broke our hearts, because we love that little girl. And I felt like my mom should not have took it out. To this day, I feel like my mom should not have exiled Cassie, because I felt like she didn't do anything. And I'm super upset, but I understand where my mom's coming from. It's just like, you don't know what's going on. And this has been a thing. Sally has been a witch her whole life. Her mom is a witch. But you know what's crazy? Her mom, Sally's mom, went insane. Because if y'all don't know one thing about witchcraft, eventually it'll get to you. It'll get back to you. It'll get back to you. So it got back to Sally's mom. Sally's mom had wandered into a forest naked in West Africa. To this day, no one knows what happened to her. Not like she went back to Africa to check up on her and to see, like, where's my mom? Nope. Because she knows where her mom is. It was bad. It was bad. Like, no one knows where this woman is to this day. No one knows. She just disappeared. She went insane and disappeared. Her own daughter, the other one in Africa, Sally Jr., we don't know where she is either. She doesn't even talk to her daughter. But this is the ending of part 3. Catch me in part 4, talking about my crazy witch aunt. Super sorry, I work full time, so I was trying my hardest, but I'm going to try to finish this whole entire story time in this one part due to the fact that I guess the length of them are crashing my TikToks, and I can't. I filmed this video so many times. I've tried to upload it so many times, but my TikTok will literally crash. So there's not much left to the story, which is pretty good, but I really want you guys to grasp the full entire thing. But if I have to make another part, I will. So like I said, doesn't know where her mama is, literally has no clue. But like I said, when we cut ties with her, things became quiet a little bit, became quiet. Unless, besides this one time she tried to pop up at my house at Halloween. Like, who does that? And my mom was mad. She's like, get out. She did not allow her to come in. So it was like real bad. So, after that, it was really quiet. We noticed that things were restoring. Obviously we were doing what we had to do on our end to make sure everything's were good. We still kept an eye out. We still had people to make sure she wasn't trying to do anything on the back end. But we are so tied to our faith. Our house is like an invisible force field. Nothing's coming through. So, like I said, things were quiet until 2020. Because, like I said, my uncle and Sally were not in a good space. So I guess she was making him go crazy. And one day, I don't know what happened, but me and my sisters were having a bootleg photo shoot because, it was 2020. We was trying to do everything. And we heard my mom on the phone, like, yelling. And we're like, what's going on? Is she arguing with someone? So we go downstairs and she's on the phone with my dad's sister. And we're like, why is she talking to this woman? Because my dad's sister, she be acting like she bougie. She too good for us. So she don't be talking to us. And my mom don't even like her no ways. So it was very odd that she was talking to her. But it was out of concern. And I was like, okay. And I guess we chimed in and we got the details. And apparently my uncle was going crazy. So I guess my mom calls my uncle. And by God, he was going crazy. He was not making sense. He was talking. It was like he was speaking in a whole other language. It was like crazy. He was making no sense, 0 sense. And then this conversation went on for an hour, y'all. Like a whole hour. And nothing made sense. And all of a sudden, like he says, when I sit in this chair, I am like crazy. But when I get up, I'm fine. And my mom was like, okay, well, don't sit in the chair. Because I guess now my mom understood that whatever Sally did, Sally basically made the house make him go crazy. We don't know how she did it because, like I said, she's a witch. She's going to figure out how to do things, She got her people and she got her ways. So Sally made him go insane. So my mom called my cousin, had my cousin pick him up. And when my cousin goes to his house, man comes outside in a neighborhood booty butt naked. No clothes whatsoever. And that was literally crazy, terrifying, because what are you doing? No clothes. And my uncle does not have a drug problem. He does not have an alcohol problem. The only thing he'd be smoking is cigarettes. So there's no type of thing that could have happened for him to act that way. It was purely just witchcraft. So my cousin takes him to my aunt's house, my dad's sister, and basically has them pray over him, does the 1, 2, 3, and he's better, and he cuts ties with Sally as well. So now Sally's mad. She has no direct way to attack my family because we all cut ties with her, and our house has at this point, invisible force field. There's no way she's coming in. No way. No matter how she tries to do it. So, for the longest time, Sally goes in this downward spiral. It's super sad. Super sad. Because, and I get it. You guys I know people are going to be like, why are you sad? She tried to, yeah. I do understand, but like, it was just, that girl's like my aunt. And like when we were younger, like when we didn't know anything was going on, she was hilarious. She was just, vibrant. Like I really did love her, and I'm not going to sit here and lie. It was sad, like seeing how much of a downward spiral she was in, that she caused herself. She became a severe alcoholic, and she was exposing that all around Cassie. Cassie's home life was not good. She never had a stable place to stay. Mind you, Sally does not have a license, like doesn't have enough money to get her own place. It was not a good, it's just terrible. So it got to the point Sally's mom, no, not Sally's mom, but Sally herself and Cassie, so Cassie's mom, and went to a party, and Sally got so inebriated to the point she couldn't walk, and she was on her time a month, so she definitely was bleeding through. And this is something that anyone can see, and they were in a hotel, so this was humiliating. My other cousin happened to be at that party, and my cousin was like, what the heck? Like, what the freak? What's going on? So she takes my aunt home, and I guess she saw where she was living, and it was just so, like any human would feel sad. It was sad seeing that Cassie was in this position in life. Like, she's a kid. She doesn't deserve that. So she calls my mom crying. She's like, Ruby, you have no idea. It was so sad. And like, obviously my mom's understanding. She's hearing. But my mom's like, there's nothing I can do for that woman after what she tried to do to me and mine. And I can't blame her. I can't blame her. So like I said, things keep on getting worse. There's times we see her at functions, and it's just like, oh my God. My mom is clear as day, like, don't talk to her, don't do this. But she always tries to talk to us, it's hard, it's awkward, it's weird, especially when Cassie's there, because we want to talk to her, but my mom does not want us to talk to her. It's just like this big issue. But things got a little ruthless at this wedding, which was my cousin's wedding. The cousin that drove her home that night when she was inebriated, my cousin's wedding. How she got invited, beyond me. We're at the wedding, everything's fine, and my mom's best friend and all her, we're there. I guess it was time to take a family photo. Why Sally jumped in, beyond me, because she was married into the family, and she's no longer in the family because we kind of kicked her out. That's what happens when you're a terrible person. She brought herself into the group photo, and I guess my mom's best friend, and we're gonna call her Josie, stood next to my uncle, not even knowing who she was sitting next to. She just wanted to get in the picture, and I guess that upset Sally so much, because now she wants him back. She pushes Josie out the way, and she's an older woman, mind you, pushes Josie out the way, and she makes a comment to another cousin around people saying, if Josie gets near my man, I will her. So my aunt heard that, my other aunt heard that, and we're gonna call her Gina. My aunt Gina heard it, and my aunt Gina told my mom and my other cousin Mallory, and they were so angry. So my aunt Mallory, my cousin Mallory goes up to Sally with Josie, and it's all like, you said you were going to do that, and she ate her up, because you need to stop. What the heck is wrong with you? Then she's like, oh, I swear I didn't say it, I swear. Liar. Fast forward 2 weeks. My mom's best friend, I'm going to call her Aunt Josie, gets a heart attack. 3 weeks later, my Aunt Josie passes away. Do I think it's a coincidence? No, I don't. I think my Aunt Sally knew what she was doing, and what she said, she stood on it. Super duper sad. That was my mom's best friend. It was a hard time for everyone in my family. We know exactly what happened, and it's not like we can take legal action. What are we going to do? Say, yeah, a witch did this? We can't, it's not something we can't prove, but we didn't think it was an accident. We didn't think it was a coincidence. It was, we think it was her. We know it was her, because she said it. She said it, and whatever she did worked, and it's super sad. Overall, I know this story seems so fake, It's not. If you are a part of an ethnic group that understands what witchcraft is, you know it's not fake. So please beware who you call family, who you call your friend, and who you call someone that you trust, because these people are not real. Thank you for participating me in this story time of my crazy witch aunt. The end.
The generational curse that almost ended my family. Hi Jenny, I watch your YouTube channel every Sunday like clockwork. I never thought I'd be writing to you, but I just know you'd believe me. My family has always been unlucky when it comes to money. I'm talking eviction after eviction, jobs that never last, cars that break down 2 weeks after we buy them. It's like every dollar we touch rot. We prayed, fast, budgeted, nothing worked until grandma came to me. She passed away when I was 12 years old. Sweet woman, but quiet. She used to tell me, baby, there's things in this world you cannot see, but they still can see you. I never understood what she meant until recently. A few months ago, I had this vivid dream. I was walking through an old church, rotted church, completely emptied. The pew were covered in vines, and candles were lit all along the altars. I felt pulled towards the front. That's when I saw her, Grandma. She was glowing, dressed in a silk head wrap in a long white robe. Her eyes were full of sadness and urgency. She said, "The curse was not meant for us, baby, but your grandfather brought it home. She passed it to him when he laid with her." That's when it hit me. My grandpa cheated on her. Everyone in the family knew, but no one talked about the woman he cheated with. She was strange, into roots, bones, and oils, a known practitioner. Grandma told me that the woman was already cursed by a man she left behind. The curse was sexual. Anyone who slept with her absorbed the poverty that meant for her bloodline. And my grandpa, he passed that curse right into our home. You want to end this, you have to do what I never had the strength to. On a Thursday night, light a green candle, place a silver coin in water, and say this prayer. She placed her hand on my chest and whispered the words, and I swear I could still feel her hands when I woke up. I did exactly as she said. Thursday at midnight, I lit a green candle in a bowl of salt. On Thursday night, I lit a green candle in a bowl of salt. I placed a silver coin in a glass of water and held it under the moonlight. I chanted what she said. She whispered to me, "By the womb that bore me, by the hands that fed me, break this chain, reverse this misery. What was passed through shame and lust, I return to earth. Restore what's just. Ancestors, open the door to wealth. Bring back light, love, and health." Okay, that was the chant. I poured the water at my doorsteps and buried the coin under my bedroom windows. Jenny, the very next week, my mom landed a job out of nowhere with benefits, a car, and a housing allowance. My brother got approved for a loan he's been denied 3 times before. And me? My online store finally went viral. I woke up to 87 orders overnight. I truly believe the curse is lifted. I just want to say thank you for your channel, because I wouldn't have never had the courage to believe in spiritual messages without it. Grandma came to me because I finally believed it was possible to heal. Tell your viewers to trust their dreams. The ancestors speak louder when the world goes quiet. Sign, a healed descendant. Okay, well, congratulations to you, girl. And this actually, I picked this. I didn't even know it was about like Thursdays or money. I just did it because I'm like, oh, it's money day and I needed a story to read. So here it is. I hope you guys enjoy this submission from Valerie. Well, we're gonna name her Valerie, but I hope you guys enjoy the submission from Valerie, and I hope you guys are listening to your intuitions and paying attention to your dreams, because a lot of times messages does come through dreams, and I believe this 100%. But apparently my channel helped her to basically believe in herself, believe in the signs and symbols that are all around her, because at the end of the day, signs and symbols are all around you. Sigils, a lot of logos for big companies, not just big companies, logos period, are sigils. And you know, magic is all around you. So once you start, you know, accepting what is there, you know how some people will see like 1111 every time they look at the clock, it's 1111 or some sort of angel number, but then they ignore those things. Well, a lot of time it's your ancestors, your guardian angels trying to speak with you in ways of time and, you know, all of that. So let me know what you guys think about this story. I hope you enjoyed it, because I did. I enjoyed reading it. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. And if you're watching me from TikTok, don't forget to go to YouTube and follow me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is All Things Jenny. And if you have a story you'd like to submit, go ahead and submit it. Don't mind my nails, guys. I broke the first one. I slammed it in the door. I almost died. I mean, literally, I felt the finger had its own pulse. It was crazy. And then the other one, I just broke it off while I was taking a shower. So anyways, guys, I love you guys for watching. Thank you. Bye. Happy Jupiter Day. Happy Thursday.